1, and 0. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of I Got Gameplay. I am your host, Michael Burhan, of course, the gentleman who is the nerdy genius of goodness. And, of course, we have with us Mr. Sean Michelin. Sean, how are you doing today?
Hey, not too bad. Actually, really goddamn excited today. I've been looking forward to this all week since you told me.
Yeah, and speaking basically of the episode itself, if you guys can't see who's on the screen at the moment, is the gentleman, he's known for his lazy game reviews. He's been on one of our Retro Unlim talkcasts as well on Google+, and he's just an all-around nice guy. He's Mr. Clint Basinger. Is that saying that right, Clint?
You got it right. Hello there.
So, Clint, basically tell the viewers what you're famous for. You know, basically, in terms, what does your channel do? Because you do a very lot of stuff. I kind of found you myself by having a keen interest in The Sims. But explain to us, like, what you do in terms of your work.
Yeah, well, the show is Lazy Game Reviews, or just LGR, because it's not just game reviews anymore. So I do everything from talking about The Sims or modern games, mostly a lot of older PC games, but also hardware, computer hardware, random stuff. I do a show called Oddware, which has a lot of strange peripherals and things like that. Show LGR Thrifts, which is just me going out thrift shopping at random places with camera glasses on my face and, showing what's out there, and sort of a first-person find whatever kind of show. And also Tech Tales, which is the most recent thing, and that is a show talking about just interesting stories of inspiration and failure and everything in between of old technology companies up through today, if they still exist, or showing their downfall if they don't. So that's pretty much the gist. It's definitely increased since the last time we've talked. So
yeah, I know there was another gentleman who's a huge fan of yours. He wanted to be on the show today, but he's kind of, I don't know what's happened. He's probably dropped off the face of the planet. Mr. Dave Wade, aka Lawnmowers 1975, which you kind of have a mutual kind of affinity for, because you've checked out his channel a number of times and keep up.
Oh yeah, it's a shame Dave couldn't be here. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he was kind of one of the people that turned me on. He's like, oh, I know how to contact Clint. Contact him via this, and it's kind of it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of persistence in trying to get hold of you basically and meet up our schedules. But the one thing I want to talk to you about, because one of the things that we talked about last week in terms of our last episode, which was with Larry Bundy, we talked about YouTube in the sense of what YouTube is, and what the kind of the process is. And you being a YouTuber, we were having a kind of an off-key conversation a while back about the process itself. Now, how did your channel grow in a sense? How did you kind of start off and build your channel in that sense? Because I know you do have a couple of, well, like most search terms, if anyone searches The Sims, you're kind of one of the channels that comes up. You're probably like 4th or 5th down the row in terms of the YouTube search terms. But you also have like this other stuff as well. You're very well known as being the American who loves his retro stuff. Yeah. So how did you start off from there? Did you just thought, hey, one day I'm going to open up a YouTube channel, or did you kind of decide what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it?
That's just been an absolute evolution along the way. I mean, when I started, it was about retro, but it was also about The Sims, or it was about just a recent console that I had bought, or just anything. And along the way, things just started to get popular as certain things on YouTube got popular. At the time, there just weren't many people talking about I mean, this was like 2008. There were some people doing the retro stuff, but it was mostly people like AVGN or whatever. There weren't many focusing on the things that I wanted to talk about, which is DOS games or, stuff on the spectrum of the Commodore 64 or anything like that. That was just being ignored, computers especially. So that was my thing. I just wanted to talk about some stuff that interested me. And yeah, I mean, along the way, just with every single video, I would get a different response, or an exact response that I had hoped for, and so I would just tweak it from there. Eventually people really started knowing my channel for certain subjects, and so that was cool. But I also never was satisfied with just keeping things as they were, and that's why I've tried to do all of these other different shows that are related, but sort of try to expand the audience, like with Tech Tales, for instance. It's not.
I love those.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not just about what I've done before, which is talking about specific games or a specific computer. I try to put it in the context of an era or a context of something now that came to be from a story that you don't even know about from forever ago or something like that. Like with the one that I did on the Dell Computer Corporation recently, people just didn't even realize that it started out in this guy's dorm room back in 1984, and it turned into this big thing. It's like, how did they get big? Like, that's just weird. It's like these companies, you don't even think about them, and they're just so big. But how did they get there? So yeah, that's just been sort of an expansion there in my mind, just to try to get a slightly different audience, but is still related to what I enjoy. So yeah, just gradual evolution and experimenting a lot with a lot of videos.
I'm a big fan of Dell myself because I have a Dell Precision M6700. Basically, it's this is what I use for my editing, my audio capture, everything. And it's a great little portable kind of laptop, but it's like it's literally like carrying a terminal around with you. The fact that they've just condensed everything into one sort of system. And that's the fun thing as well. A lot of people don't understand when it comes to like the gaming industry, and also like the computer industry, how far it's come, or where it started, where the roots have kind of laid in. One of one of my most favorite things to do was doing research. I managed to go to the debut, the premiere of Bedrooms to Billions, which was at the EGX, Electronic Gaming Expo in London last year. I managed to get like a load of key interviews there. Also, basically check out EGX and stuff. And I was learning about the basics from like the ZX Spectrum all the way like from there to the Commodore 64 to how the British gaming industry grew and became something big. I had the sort of the fortunate, the kind of fortunate luck to interview the Oliver twins well and talk to them about like Dizzy and their, because they were responsible for like 75% of the gaming industry here in the United Kingdom at one point. And it shows really how deep this goes. And for those who are basically keen collectors, should have at least a kind of a basic understanding in terms of what the industry has and what's going on, and they should have the whole scope. I think sometimes people don't understand that YouTube is more than just AVGN in a sense. There's a lot more to it. So your channel kind of grew there, and as you said, you partnered up with a well-known YouTube like partner brand.
Yeah. Originally, I partnered with the Curse Network many years ago now, and then they shut down 2 months after I partnered with them, so that was not a good first impression of the partner system. So they kicked me out, and I was like, well, okay. But they happened to know somebody over at the time, it was the Games Station. And so they signed me on, and they became, whoa.
Oh, is he announcing his arrival?
What is that?
I'll be here. Keep going, Clint.
Okay. All right, there we go. That's all right. It's all right.
I thought that was Dave coming in.
That was a UFO attacking or something there. Oh no. Okay.
That's why I use Linux.
But I just said, can of the game station.
Yeah, the Game Station. They became Maker Studios, and then they got bought out by Disney. So they became much, much bigger. At the time when I started with them, they weren't much of anything really. I mean, they had some big people, but they were nothing like what they turned out to be today. I mean, it's still weird to me seeing Disney on my paychecks. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, but it is what it is. So it turned into something a little better, just sort of by chance. But that was never my intention, that's for sure.
And also Maker actually own Blip TV as well, which most people don't know. Like Blip, they're still deciding whether or not they're going to actually keep that platform because
they did buy Blip, and it's not official or anything, but Blip is pretty much dead. Yeah, I mean it's going to be, I think, shut down or shuttered here within like November is the rumor, at least that I've read. But yeah, they haven't even told me anything about it. Like when they bought it, I had to go and ask them. I'm like, hey, I was on Blip at one point, or I still was then when they bought it. I'm like, are we going to do anything with this? And they're like, no, don't worry about it. Just keep posting on YouTube. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, was sort of confusing. They just sort of kept gobbling up things.
But Blip was kind of an alternative to YouTube in itself, because YouTube
It
has a
was.
very narrow-minded copyright thing. You know, what they'll do is if someone puts a claim in, they will just basically rip the video out. You know, there's even
You had a whole bunch of people going over to Blip, myself included. I think I went over to Blip in 2010 just to try and see if I could do anything there, and I made maybe $5 a month on it, and it was like, oh well, I mean that's better than nothing, so sure. So I just posted everything, cross-posted from Blip to YouTube, because at that point you could transfer from Blip to YouTube. It made uploading to both really easy, but that stopped a couple years ago now, so I just stopped uploading there altogether, especially since YouTube had completely taken off, at least for me, monetarily wise, that I was able to quit my job and just do that full time. So yeah, the things like Blip didn't really appeal to me anymore, and they even stopped responding to all sorts of requests for information, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. They were a neat little alternative for a while.
yeah, they were, and it's basically the home of the guys from Nostalgia Critic and the guy with the glasses. When they lose,
they're all jumping ship from there now because they have to. I mean, it's just not going to last.
where are they going to now? Because is there another video platform they're moving to?
Again, all I know is from like rumors or whatever, but I know some of them are going over to Screenwave because they have some sort of built-in video embed something system. But yeah, all I've read is just like on random fan forums and stuff of people talking. So I don't really know. I assume that, yeah, people are either going to have to start partnering up or do their own thing. Like I know Spoonie is doing Patreon, and so am I. So that's sort of a thing going forward too, is just the crowdfunding, getting your fans to try to back you, so you don't have to partner with anyone. So
Well, I recently did a video on this, and Megas was talking about this quite recently as well, in terms of like Patreon and who like should have it. We talked to Larry about this recently, and I was talking, and I believe the whole process of content creators, because I believe yourself, you're a content creator. There's a difference between being a content creator and a Let's Player who just uploads videos, footage of games, and then, without
fart jokes abound and stuff like that.
Pretty much. And it gets to the point where a lot of these guys are kind of trying to benefit from the Patreon, depending on, and even channels with large sizes as well are going with Patreon. You just sit there and think, 1 second, why is this guy with the huge amount, like over 1 million subs, trying to get a Patreon up and running?
Because what's better than money? More money.
Now that's true. I mean, more money is nice. That's why I did it. I mean, because hey, it's there, and CPMs have been going down for years. I'm now making half the amount of money that I was 2 years ago at double the views on YouTube, and that's I don't know. I've been with the same network the entire time, so I don't know if they're screwing me on ads, but I do know that a lot of my friends are in the same boat, so that's why they went onto the Patreon thing, or the other one that Patreon just bought out recently. So yeah, I know that that's part of it, is just that CPMs have been sucky, but hey, also more money is more money. You've got like the what is a group from IGN or whatever that quit and went over there, and they're making like 60 grand a month on Patreon now. So they were already huge, right? Now they're doing this just on their own. So it's awesome and pretty awe-inspiring to see some of this going on. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it does seem like a bit of a system of the rich getting richer from what I've seen, because I don't know. I know from me and from what I've seen from one of my friends who has, they're pretty small relatively on YouTube, and they went over there and they're making, their little bit, and to them that's everything. But they just want any kind of recognition from Patreon or anyone to just maybe sort of get pushed forward. But the only people that you see Patreon or Maker or any of these other large networks pushing are the people that are already big. So I mean, I guess it makes sense for them in the short term. It's less time investment for more return on their end, because they share more of the revenue of the bigger people already making all the money. But yeah, it's harder for the little person to even get into this. At least I would imagine so.
So describe like your previous day and age to now, like from when you previously started to starting now. Do you say it's a lot harder for someone to even start up on YouTube?
Yeah, I'd say it's almost ridiculously hard. I mean, I even know there's this one guy, he does these videos that are absolutely, like, if he would have done something 6 years ago, he would have been huge by now. But because he's starting now, I mean, this guy's got like a $5,000 camera and like this crazy set and amazing scripts, and it's so top notch. But because it's just started and there's no promotion and he has no way to even get attention, he's basically just hoping that he either goes viral or the big people notice him, and yeah, that's unfortunate. But at the same time, it's just I guess because it's so large now, and the biggest people have gotten so big that it's reaching critical mass, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's also the fact now the algorithms changed because they want you to do more
Yes.
content as well, and because you've got like the big guys on top doing about they used to do probably one video a week. Now they're probably doing about 5 or 6 a week. You're barely being able to get searched now, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, and even I'm trying to keep up with that. I started doing 2 videos a week at the beginning of 2014, I think, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. Like it's hard to even keep up with some of those things as far as showing up in search results. Like I can look at my analytics and tell where the views come from if they come from search results or related videos, and those used to be a significant chunk of my views, and they're just not there anymore. Mostly where they come from are just related videos of my own videos, not anyone else. And that's I don't know how that works. I'm not sure what the ins and outs of that algorithm are that choose that, but I mean you can even see that in the little related channels automatic generated thing on YouTube channels now. According to YouTube, the related recommended channels are the people with 4 million subs. I wish that I could change that to my related channels of like friends I know that are hanging around 5,000 or 20,000 or 40. Even 40,000 subs is not that much anymore compared to those that are trying to get 500,000 by the end of the month or something. I don't know. Some people get lucky, and that's fine. They've obviously done something to get there, but it also doesn't help that the algorithms and the way that the stuff is promoted don't exactly help the newcomers either.
So, Sean, you want to ask a question?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been a long time viewer of your channel and that, and been a huge fan. But I've noticed that you've said in some of your videos before that it's been hard to try to get ahead in YouTube, to be seen and to be promoted. Even like I know a few years back you were trying to get in as a partner. Now it's like anybody can become a partner, and the changing scape of YouTube. What do you think of it? Like, how do you think it might end up going in the next few years? Like the way it's going now.
Yeah, that is a little different. Because yeah, well, even a few years ago when I was trying to get any kind of partner status, all I wanted was banners on the top of my channel.
Right,
I wanted
right,
banners and
same.
thumbnails. That's all I wanted. Money's fine, but I just want cool features like thumbnails, custom thumbnails. But now anybody can do that. As far as I know,
Yeah.
you can just go and apply for it, and there you go. That's it. So if everyone can have it, it's no longer special, which means that everyone is more or less on the same playing field, except that really people are on 2 playing fields. You've got the people that have already established themselves, and then the others that you just I don't even know. I don't know. So if where that's going to go, probably paid. I know YouTube is rolling out their paid subscription
Premium
model.
service, yeah.
Yeah, premium. So you can either just pay for a specific channel, or I think just pay for maybe the whole site. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I do
Hello.
think people are going to go for paid comment.
Mothers, hide your daughters. Look who it is.
Hello, Mr. Dave Wade. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave's just joined us in on the podcast. We were here with Clint from Lazy Game Reviews. So basically,
By the way, Clint, I have to say one of the greatest writers ever in the world of the history of life, and David Attenborough. I don't know if you know who David Attenborough is, but trust me, it's important. Is your spectrum phrase that I use a lot in my life, which is it's like fondling a zombie.
Thank you. Well, I've always heard them say is the dead flesh keyboard. I'm like, oh, it's like fondling a zombie.
It's fishy. Well, myself, the phrase I like to use when I describe the ZX Spectrum, and thank you for calling it the ZX and not the ZX, because can I be an angry prick right now?
Sure.
when Americans say ZX, it really makes me want to punch them in the face. It's the ZX. It's the bloody ZX. It's.
I understand. I mean, that's why I made a big deal about that. Anytime I can.
Thank you, thank you. By the way, thank you. If you ever come to England, I will buy you many pints.
Well, I will take them. Yeah, it's like we put so much effort into trying to pronounce like Japanese words or names and stuff. I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah, then it comes to the stupid little pokey fucking English computer, and everyone just goes, "It's the ZX." No, it's the ZX.
Yeah, I gotta respect the origins.
I still need to send you a game package, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I got a couple TRS-80 games I'm meaning to send you for the last couple fucking years.
That's okay.
I remember I messaged you about that. No, I don't have any use for them because I don't have a TRS-80. But see, I found them in a house that I moved in a few years back, and I was like, "Oh, these are cool." I remember seeing these as a kid, and then I was like, "Who the hell would I know want these? I don't know anybody with a TRS-80." And then I was like, "Wait, I know who." Would you try them on the Tano?
I would definitely try them on that. That would be interesting because I don't have many things for the Tano Dragon, but I would like to at least. I've got a couple for like the Coco 2, but they don't seem to. I don't know. It's just some random thrift shop.
Well,
so
it's Megabug and Polaris.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so classics.
Expect a gameplay tonight, people. By the way, I just got this Kirby game. Yay!
Ooh,
I'm really excited about it. How sad am I? I'm really excited that I just got the latest Kirby game, but I'm postponing playing it because I want to enjoy it. So I'm gonna go nip to the offie, if you will, and you know what offie means, right? In Canada and North America.
I can't say I
to
do.
the shop.
Offie is where you buy booze. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna nip to the offie, buy a couple
It's
of
called the
cans,
NLC here.
maybe some
Liquor
crisps,
Corporation.
and oh fuck, I still need to do the Marmite Easter egg challenge.
Yeah, because Larry was saying something about that.
Yeah, Larry. See, the thing is, my problem with that is, it's not the fact that I dislike Marmite, because I fucking love Marmite. But
Yeah, you put it on fucking everything. I feel bad for your bog.
yeah, yay, you're American. You said bog. Sorry.
Canadian. Queen's English should we still follow over here?
Dave, are you currently hyped up on medication at the moment?
I may have had a very strong codeine for my foot, but
I could see that. Now, continuing as we continue, going off on the tangent there. So, Clint, basically, in terms of like the way that the algorithm works,
wait, are we live?
We are live. We're not live, but we're pre-taping. We're pre-taping, Dave. But going on from that and discussing the fact that, you know, YouTube, you've got like the new algorithm that's in place, but there's still a few channels that are getting out there. What do you feel that these, like the big channels, need to do a lot more? Do you think if they promoted some of the small guys, it would make things a lot more easier?
That would be nice, but I can't expect that of them. I mean, you know, just like I wouldn't want anybody to expect that of me. It's like, well, just because you're small doesn't mean that I should. I think that there should be less of a stigma about doing it, though. Like, I know that even myself, it is hard to get the attention of certain people because they are, you know, big enough, and unless you're paying, you're probably not going to get their attention. So yeah, I think that would be a nice thing, but I also don't necessarily expect it, just because I wouldn't expect anyone to do so with me. But yeah, I would like that. I would like there to be an option.
It comes back to something myself and Burhan were talking about in our podcast the other day, which is
I miss that. Fucking work.
Trust me, everyone misses it. It comes back to this thing, which is the community should look after itself, and they you know, people should throw, you know, shout out left, right, and center to stuff, and they don't necessarily do such. But it's the way YouTube or Google, I should say, is constructed right now means it doesn't. It's not. It's not constructed towards the little person. And I'm not saying, like the little person wants to be famous or anything like that, but it's such an anti small guy process right now that it's just pathetic. So, and as Bohan said in that said podcast that you didn't see, um, it's down to the small guy to look after the other guy and shout them out. And it's just Google, you've completely destroyed or dismantled what YouTube should be, which was it was a place where small people could have their hobby or their mannerisms or their fetishes. That sounds really bad, fetishes. And then you came along with this business management process or vision of what it should be, and you destroyed it for all of us. So, and I remember when this sounds really stupid. I remember when you were. Can I say this? I remember when you were small.
So let's talk a little bit more about you, Clint. I heard that one of the things that I do love about your channel is you do a killer Duke Nukem impression.
You said do.
You do a killer Duke Nukem impression, and you also talk a lot about the Duke Nukem games. So what
And hang on, Bohan. Your greatest Duke Nukem moment was my sexy biscuits.
Well, saying that, jumping off of that, which is your favourite Duke Nukem game and why?
Well, it'd have to be 3D because it's the best. That's just all there is to that.
Goddamn right. Go with the fucking best.
Yeah, what did you think of?
Person who didn't like, who did like the last game on the 360 and the PlayStation 3.
Oh, you're talking about the one we waited for, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because you could clearly see that one chunk of the game was really old and crammed into a new chunk of the game that was developed now. But
No, it wasn't bad, and I mean, I said as much in my review there. Like for something that was just a weird artifact, it probably shouldn't have even existed in the first place. I mean, it was just cobbled together pieces. Yeah, sure, it wasn't bad, but compared to just, what I think is just a pure artistic vision of Duke 3D, and it's the stuff that was so innovative at the time. I mean, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was playing through it again because I do like every month.
It's a really good physics engine.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's got all this stuff in there.
And realistic turn
that was just say this that they should make a drill down version of that game that's basically entirely focused upon the remote control section of the car because that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you remember that level when you had to drive the car around? And
that's something they did back then too. In 1997, Shadow Warrior, you had the exact same thing. So I mean, it was really innovative stuff.
Shadow Warrior, I forgot.
Yes,
I fucking remember getting that on shareware, and it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I hate that I'm poor and I can't buy the full version.
Who wants? And I'm doing this right now. Who wants to put their hand up and say I miss shareware?
Oh, absolutely.
And way up.
Because my greatest moment of experience of sheer enjoyment of shareware was the 6th level demo of Quake. That was fucking amazing.
I used to love getting the discs in the mail too.
I miss getting discs on the front of magazines. Right, you could. Well, actually, we don't get this anymore. But I miss back in the day, like in the 90s, that you would go to, if you were cheap like me, you could have gone to the store at the day when you had no money to buy a game, and you could just plump £7 into a computer magazine and got a demo disc on the front with 7 playable demos. PlayStation official magazine, I miss you so much.
I used to like going to the Canics back home. My hometown is near a military base, and Canics here in Canada is civilian and military service department store. And in the electronics section, they'd always have this standee with all these 3.5-inch floppies in these little plastic cases. You could just pay pay $5 and get 2 or 3 and go home and and then you get happiness.
it was a great way to kind of, you know, if you were broke and you couldn't afford a new game, it was a great way to kind of, you know, just experience games. And I remember playing Ultimate Doom, one playable level on the front official PlayStation magazine. I remember playing that I played the bollocks out of that game. And it was like people looking at you like, dude, it's one level. Let it go, Dave. Let it go. Like, but I have no money and I can't afford a real game right now.
That's how it was for me with Duke Nukem Time to Kill. That came with one of the PlayStation magazines. It was a single level demo, and I played that probably 30, 40 times in a week. And I'm like, you know, yeah, this is good enough. It works. It's a game. It's got Duke Nukem. I'm happy.
I miss that. I mean, you know what? I really, really, really miss those days because now we have DLC and that's what's replaced. Oh my God. I've just had an epiphany. That's what's replaced cover discs, which is DLC. But I miss it because it was a great way to experience or play or just have some fun when you had no fucking money whatsoever. And now it's all, do you want to download an update for this? Click. I'm trying to be really boring when I say that voice because that's how I imagine Xbox Live is. Do you want to download this update? Yeah, it's awesome.
So, speaking on that, let's ask you about, like, because you've been, you know, you're known a lot more for your Sims plays as well. How did that all start?
Completely by accident. I've always been into that series. You know, one of my first games ever being SimCity, so I just played every Maxis game ever. And as they came out, I just played them. And same with The Sims 3. So I just happened to put a video up there that because I was playing it so much, I'm like, well, I may as well turn this into a video so I feel good about myself. And yeah, that was just something that completely caught me off guard because after that got quote unquote popular at like 1,000 views at the time, it was like, oh cool, well maybe I should cover the expansion pack. And for whatever reason, the expansion pack videos ended up being way more popular because that, I don't know, in a way it's more fun to do those because the basic game is, you know, everybody knows that is always the same thing. You control the little people and, you know, it's whatever. So but with the expansions, they're always doing something, trying to do something different and a little weird at times, and it's very easy to poke fun at and just sort of go ridiculous. I mean, especially when they do something dumb like the Katy Perry expansion pack. It's like, why does this exist?
Wasn't it?
Wait, what? There's a Katy Perry?
I watched that video.
Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack for The Sims 3. Like that was just
Jesus Christ.
I was like, this is real. Okay, well I'm gonna have some fun with this, and you know, I just went all out, and that became one of the more memorable videos that I did. I mean, I ended up eating the box art at the end of that one because it's just like, oh man, it's so tasty you can eat it. It's like, all right, well I'm gonna eat it. And
did you?
Gives new reason to the word show tits.
All I need to ask is, did you end up banging?
Katy Perry makes you want to gouge my eyes out.
Did you end up banging Katy Perry in the game? That's all I need to ask.
In the game, yes, absolutely, yeah. There were I had 10 of my clones, and there's sort of a Katy Perry gangbang going on in The Sims because that's what you can do in that game.
Did you play that
clones,
California Girl song to it?
Yeah, I think there were a few of her songs in there, and then yeah, we ended up cloning Katy Perry too, and then there were like an army of Katy Perrys going around like getting struck by lightning, and it was interesting.
That's what I would do. I'd have my own desert island in The Sims, create a gang of Katy Perrys that... Okay, I think I'm kind of talking over Dave. I was going to say, I'd create my own desert island in The Sims and have a gang of Katy Perrys just like fending me. I'll be like Castro, Fidel Burhan with his Katy Perry army. That's what I think I'd do.
Yeah, like half of mine became like astronauts, the other half of them were like policemen, and one was a Katy Perry criminal, and you could do it all to her actual clothing and music in the game. Like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And the thing is, they charged more for that pack than any of the others, and it had like less desirable content than any of the others. It was such a... Was she like basically, you know, stamped all across the box and stuff, and so it was like her product? So that's the reason that, you know, if you wanted to fart in that game, it cost you $15? More or less, yeah. I mean, it was $30 for this thing that just basically added 20 objects and like some outfits, and that was it. And you know, the box was all glittery. And
would you like to put a new shirt on Katy Perry? Click yes.
I still don't know what her face looks like.
I don't even think she knows what her face looks like.
Yeah.
But
I'll set some time at some point and actually look at it.
But you've had also experience with the new Sims game. What do you feel that the game's lacking in terms of the new one? Because I know the new one's had a lot of complaints in comparison to being stripped down.
Yeah, the complaints really stem from the fact that The Sims 3 was such a big evolution, if stepping forward as far as customization and open world and all of these really neat things, and then they took all of that away and tried to make it it was originally going to be like an
They
online
tried to make
only.
it X Factor.
Yeah, it was originally going to be like online only sort of stripped down version of the game, like a spin-off. But they decided to turn that into a full product is the story. So when they turned that into The Sims 4 and it was, they took out the online portion, but it was still a much smaller game with less customization and no Katy Perry and which is a good thing, but everything else
That's a bonus.
yeah, everything else was kind of lacking and that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like new players, that's cool because it runs better, and some would argue that it looks better in a stylized sort of way. But yeah, I mean it's also just missing. It didn't ship with things that have been in the game since forever, like swimming pools. There were no swimming pools. It's like why would you take those out? That's a classic way to kill a sim. It's putting them in the swimming pool, taking away the ladder, and then watching them drown. Right? You couldn't even do that.
There's no toddler.
Or basically build the house over them.
So
Yeah.
you're that bloke that likes to do the old going back to the Sega Saturn. You're that bloke who likes to drown Lara Croft, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's a way that I can kill a character in some, hilarious, I would always in Tomb Raider. It's those pits that had the spikes. I would like to jump down there and just, those were always fun.
Is it wrong that when Lara Croft went when she died, I found it really hot.
Hey, in 1996, you had to take it where you can get it, I suppose.
Exactly.
And also in 1996, boobs looked like triangles.
All three polygons were pretty nice. I mean, I was a 13-year-old playing that and Duke Nukem 3D, and there were reasons other than the gameplay. So.
Oh God, I'm old.
So going on from that, like in terms of what they've taken out from it, have they? I know they've released a couple of like downloadable pieces for it, and they've also to get people to kind of sign up to their service, they also released The Sims 2 because they released a special edition complete version with pets and everything like that. Because I currently have
free,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So why did they strip it down so much?
You neuter your dog.
No.
I don't think so.
But why did they strip it down so much to the point where you have one game here which is brand new, it looks appealing, but it's got literally nothing on it, and then you've got the other game which you're giving away free, which has everything including the fucking kitchen sink in there?
Well, I think there's two reasons. One is they have no idea what they're doing, and they just really have gone crazy recently with their games. I mean, they keep screwing up one thing after another. SimCity was a disaster. Battlefield 4 was launched in a completely broken state on most systems. And then you got Battlefront, I guess, the new Star Wars coming out.
Battlefield
It's got
4 was so... You're right, Clint. Battlefield 4 was so fucking broken. The biggest peeve of my life, can I have my rant moment, is they never fix the broken save state.
They've not fixed a whole lot of things about these past several years of really big
You could
releases.
play
They're
for
just-
like fucking 4 hours of the game, right? And then you try and... Well, you know this, so this is... Sorry, my anger rant. And you can... And I'm just wiping the spittle off my laptop screen. You can play for like 4 hours of the game, then you try and save it, and it says it's saved. It says, I've got your save, Dave. I've got your save. And then you turn your Xbox off and you turn it back on, and your save's gone. Denied. Lied. You lied.
It was the same thing in SimCity too. When it launched, you would save your city. You'd be playing for 30 hours, and since it was an online-only game and you had to rely on the cloud to save it, half the time it wouldn't. The server would go down, and you would lose all your progress. I had that happen twice as I was trying to review this thing. And I'm like, that's the point where I was just, if I had not already given up on EA's games, that was the point that did it. And then, they ended up closing down Maxis earlier this year. They're gone. And now you have The Sims 4, and I think the other reason that there's a problem with it is really, yeah. And the other reason it really sucks about, I guess, Sims 4, or the other reason that it might suck is just the more cynical reason they would cut it down is to sell more stuff to you later on. And now instead of 2 types of packs, we've got 3 types of packs. You know, it's not just expansions and stuff packs. Now you have game packs, which adds different things. So yeah, it's a very piecemeal approach. You sell you a basic game, and then you sell all the extra parts to it, and it's worked for them in the past. Now they're just doing it even.
It's like buying a car, isn't it? It's like buying a car, and then someone says, "By the way, those headlights are optional." Mm.
Or buy you the car without the stereo and say, "Well, if you want the stereo, you got to pay extra for it."
Yeah, and then if you ask why it's not there, they will say, "Well, you know, we didn't have time to put it in," and it was. They have all these weird excuses for why they haven't included things like toddlers. Toddlers aren't even in the game anymore.
We didn't put it in because, well, that comes on a second disc.
Yeah, or it's just, you know, they'll say it's too difficult, or it was not in the the game engine didn't support it. That was their reason for not including swing pools.
I hate that phrase. Oh, I hate
like,
that phrase so much. Sorry,
and then they added them.
Not you, Clint. I'm just saying, I hate that phrase so much. Which all game developers jump around or put out left, right, and center. Which is, yeah, you know, the engine didn't, couldn't do it. Like,
well, then they added it 2 months later, so obviously it did do it. They just didn't want to, or they ran out of time, or who knows what. But the excuses don't help.
Well, we've seen it a lot with companies like Ubisoft when they had like Watch Dogs was terrible, and Assassin's Creed Unity was basically broken.
We already discussed this, Bohan, on previous.
I know, but what I'm trying to explain is, it's companies seem to be now like in order to make an extra buck, they seem to be focusing on giving you bare bones or dishing out an incomplete game in order to meet quotas and revenues and stuff, which is another thing. So now, like the game's had some time to breathe. Does it seem like The Sims 4 is actually benefiting now from the extra packs and stuff?
Oh sure, I mean it's getting better gradually, but the fact that they charged $60 for it, and then another $40 for an expansion, and then another $20 for this, and another $10 for that, we're already up to $140 for the game that is still so far back from one that you can get for free on Origin now, which is a little weird, and I don't know. I guess they're just relying on that rabid fan base, and I understand that because I'm a big fan of that, and I always have been. But at the same time, you've got to step back and say, hey, maybe I'm getting screwed. Maybe we shouldn't be buying all of this stuff, without thinking. And I don't even know if that's ever going to happen because, yeah, as far as Sims fans go, they're some of the most rabid people that I've ever met, and myself included. So I totally get it, but it's also an occasion where they can really take advantage of the people that are going to give them the money for these packs, and as long as they can, I'm assuming they're just going to do it. So,
what's your favorite thing to do on The Sims? Like, what are you saying that you loved killing Sims off every now and then? But what's your favorite thing?
Killing is always fun. They made it harder to kill Sims in The Sims 4, so can't do that as much. Mostly, what I've been doing in that one is just building. Just building houses. They've really overhauled the construction a lot, so you can just make all sorts of really cool things with less customization now. Now you can't just put leopard print wallpaper up anymore, but if you wanted to in The Sims 3 you could, but in this one you have to mod the game to do that, so that's kind of down there. Oh yeah, I made pink leopard print bathrooms and everything in The Sims 3. It was great.
My friend Mandy, when that was
terrifying story. Well, it's not really truly terrifying, and sorry, Andrea, because you were my girlfriend in Canada at the time. But imagine coming home one day, and you say to your bird, "What are you doing? Playing Sims? Hey, oh wait, you've just named every character in the game after us. So there's me, and there's you, and now you've started a life with us. That's quite scary." Fact,
that's a natural step. I mean, there was a phrase that was associated with the first Sims game, and was like, that someone's interested in you, or you're interested in them when you make them in The Sims. It's like the sort of the natural progression to sort of live out that weird fantasy of, hey, let's see what happens when we get married, even though I don't even know you very well. So,
is this wrong to look at someone over their shoulder and just go, apparently you have 5 children? That's really kind of scary. But hey, good for you, Andrew. We got 5 kids.
My friend Mandy, she plays. She's been a Sims fan for years. And she was reluctant to get Sims 4, but now she got it. She makes me as one of the house Sims, and I'm usually always just cooking, taking pictures of my food. Apparently, so I'm just like, oh well, it's kind of like me.
But I was the bloke
Yeah.
in plastic pants looking like Freddie Mercury. I didn't like that.
So going on from that, so Clint, like in terms of your retro collection, because you're a very big collector, and you don't collect like most retro collectors do, because most of the guys out there, they like classic consoles, their retro Nintendos, but people who are kind of fans of like the angry video
You
game
have an
nerd and
amazing
such.
collection of European stuff.
That's what I was going to kind of allude to. Your European stuff. How did that start?
That started mainly because I had a lot of
Thank you for
European
calling
friends.
the ZX.
Sure. Yeah, it mainly just started because I had a lot of friends online, especially that were into that, and I just found it fascinating because it was something I had no experience with at all, and nobody else did. So I guess that sort of a hipster side of me was just like, oh man, this is cool because no one else has it. So, I started looking into it more, and I found the whole rise of the British micro just fascinating, and the stories and the people, and the fact that there were hundreds of manufacturers during at one point in like 1982. It was just ridiculous how many things there were. So, yeah, I just started looking into that, and I also really appreciated like
amazing.
the alternate stuff of like even just the stuff that we got here, and then the stuff that you got over there. Even though it was the same game, it just had cooler box art, or it was released on a different system that I'd never seen. The fact that you could get Lemmings on a Commodore 64 in the UK was amazing.
Lemmings on the Spectrum, by the way.
You can get it on the Spectrum. I was like, how in the world? This is crazy. So of course I just had to have it.
I remember seeing a YouTube video, and it was somebody actually showing a record that you got in the newspaper or something. It's one of those one-sided little plastic records, and you'd take it and play it, but you record it onto a cassette, and then you take the cassette and put it in your cassette player for your system, and you'd have a game.
Yes. Yeah, that is something that I've always wanted to try to get a hold of. One of the games came on a record. There was some artist that did that too. They had like it's like a game for
Hardcastle, I think.
Yeah, might have been. It was one of those. It was kind of obscure, whatever. But there it was. You could put it over there and copy it over and dub it to a tape and play it right on your micro. It's pretty sweet.
So,
I want you to come and live in my house, and we'll play ZX Spectrum for the rest of our lives.
So, out of the retro consoles, which one's your favorite?
Of the consoles, I'd probably have to go with the Mega Drive or possibly the PS1. Right, that's like a sweet spot for me. Just that mid '90s, early '90s to mid '90s kind of thing. The PS1 for the early 3D graphics and really solid, expensive-looking 32-bit shooters and stuff. And
Mega Solid, best game in the world ever.
Yes. All those kind of things, and then for the Genesis and Mega Drive for just all the classic 16-bit stuff. And I just really, I don't know why, but in a way I prefer the FM synthesis over like the sort of MIDI sounding stuff on the SNES. But yeah, so that twangy sound chip just does it for me.
Yeah, you know what? Right, I agree with you on that. The SNES had amazing sound. Like orchestral and stuff like that, and brilliant, wonderful. Yeah. But the Mega Drive or the Genesis had sound that sounded like the arcade, so it was almost like the SNES was punching above its weight, if that makes sense, because it was like, I don't want you to sound like a band in my church and being all orchestric and shit like that. I want you to sound like bleeps and bloops and like the arcades I went to as a kid that smelled of dirty fags and cigarettes. It's just
yeah, the Sega system just sounded more honest in a way to me, whereas the Super Nintendo, I mean, that was something that I always drooled over, of course, always wanted one. I didn't have any friends that had one because they were too expensive, but the one friend that did, and he finally did, and I played Star Fox, and I'm like, okay, now I want a Super Nintendo. But at the time, it was all Genesis, with my friends and everything. I eventually got one later on. That was my first console. So yeah, that'd probably be, if I had to just pick one, then I mean, yeah.
I think I may have asked you this in a comment on one of your videos, which is, would you prefer the names of Mega Drive or Genesis?
Oh, Mega Drive just sounds cooler. It just does. I'm used to Genesis. I always called it Genesis, but now nowadays I can't just get Phil Collins out of my head when I think Genesis, and then I think, Mega Drive, and it just sounds amazing. It seems like a beefy computer with like muscle robot arms, and I don't even know. It seems cool.
My girlfriend's name is Genesis as well. My girlfriend's name is Genesis, and Dave keeps calling them Mega Drive. So I get he's like.
There you go. Actually, we drill down. Burhan's girlfriend is called Genesis, so I call her Mega Drive. It's a joke, and now I've just started calling her Meggy, because
that was.
And I'm pretty sure, even though she, doesn't mind it, she's completely unaware of why I'm actually saying it.
No, she gets it. And this is the thing when it comes to like these consoles and stuff. Like my favorite, I've always been a Nintendo kid growing up, but I did play with the ZX Spectrum. Even though the thing we went through about 4 of those.
Really, Burn? You had a Specky?
Yeah, we went through 4 of them. It blew up. Because that's the one thing.
Did you take him over to Circle Live and say, "Fix this shit"?
No, we had one. It blew up. Then we got another one. We're waiting for Batman to load up on the console, and we were waiting for nearly an hour. And then when
that was quite a quick game to load up. By the way, Batman. I don't know why my voice is really high like this, like Mickey Mouse, but that was quite a quick game to load up.
Well, we waited for it to load, and then it blew up again. And I was just like, "Fuck this!"
Batman the movie, or Batman the Cape Crusader, or Batman the Isometric Adventure?
I think it was the Isometric Adventure. But it was one of those where I ended up basically, I ended up just taking the bloody thing, putting it in the box, and going, right, I'm getting my Nintendo out because I can't play this shit anymore. But I never knew that it was a programming console until like later on in life, So it was a fun thing to kind of find out about these consoles and these game systems. Clint, have you ever had experience with the BBC Micro by any chance?
Oh, I saw that video. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've got an upgraded Model B over here, and yeah, it's good stuff.
A footnote of that, did you see Ben Heck's video where he took a Raspberry Pi and made like a new version of the BBC Micro with the red function keys? Oh, yes. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. It is.
He's done some really cool projects. His Spectrum project is pretty cool too.
I know, a handheld portable Spectrum.
Spectrum they're going to release, by the way, which is the kind of I don't know.
Yeah, I have seen that. It looks interesting.
I haven't enlightened me.
It's basically like think joypad size stuff, and it's got the and I love the fact that they've done this, which is it's got Q up, A down, O left, P right, and space as fire, which are the keys of champions, and it's basically a Spectrum emulator that you plug into your TV, like kind of like those Atari things you get. And it's got 2,500 games loaded on it.
Yeah, it's basically just like a smaller Spectrum, but in the shape, sort of a game controller. And it's
got the logo at the top, and
yeah, it's got the logo, and it looks like it's actually got the proper, gummy zombie dead flesh keys too. I don't know, it looks like it, but there's also the Bluetooth.
Just say it for me, Clint. Just say it for me. Just say right now, so I can quietly chuckle to myself.
Like fondling a zombie, yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, the Bluetooth keyboard Spectrum looks actually pretty sweet too. It's just a keyboard, but it'll work for Android devices and PCs, so you can control your modern system with the classic keyboard. So that's definitely seeing somewhat of a resurgence, I suppose.
I did see they also I think it was Giles that basically showed the mod that you can put together for your ZX Spectrum, where there's an app you install on your phone, and it plays Spectrum games, and you can actually put it into the tape drive expansion that's on there. All you have to do is put the connector into your phone, because there's a connector that you can buy for your phone that goes straight into it, and it will load up just like a ZX Spectrum. It would load it like it's loading up the games from a tape drive. It's kind of pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've actually modified. I had a BlackBerry a long time ago that I modified to do that with. You don't even have to do much. Just get the. There's an app for Windows. It was like Tape to Wave. It would convert it over to a WAV file. You could put that on your phone, and then just use like a headphone out adapter. And the Speccy would just treat it like it was a tape drive. And as long as the volume on your phone was set correctly, it'll load them straight off of there like a tape drive, but just through WAV files. So you could actually compress those too, so that a game that would load in 3 minutes would say load in 30 seconds. So it's actually
all my Spectrum gameplays on my channel are actually done through my Wii. And what makes me laugh is when I load them up, like, really? I have to let you load in real time. Seriously, real time. That's like
Purist.
It's part of the experience. You sort of get hyped up, and I mean, some of them have really cool loading screens.
Don't load in the fucking title screen. It looks nice, shiny, and fantastic, because if you took that screen out, it would load in half the time.
So saying that, Clint, what's your go-to game?
My go-to game, just for anything.
For anything, say you want to unwind, have a cup of coffee, watch a game, load for an hour or so. What's your go-to game?
I think he meant coffee.
Yeah, that sort of. I don't know. I mean, it depends on my mood, it's Duke Nukem 3D is always not far from me. I always have it installed and ready to go. But other than that, I mean, probably I'll just load up something like The Sims, or even recently, just a little bit of Carmageddon or Grand Theft Auto. Just something ridiculously violent that doesn't matter, and I can just rip some people apart in a car and just completely not even think about what I'm doing.
So
at least we're talking about that.
It's a remake.
It actually just was. They launched a new one last week.
Really?
Isn't it the one that you did the video on?
Yes, Carmageddon Reincarnation, and unfortunately, it runs like complete balls. It is not
I
very
saw
well
that.
optimized. Yeah, it doesn't run very well, but the gameplay is super solid. I mean, it is a straight up remake of the first one, mixed in with some elements of Carmageddon 2. I mean, those are like the best easily.
Is it
so.
people?
Seemed like a flat out Ultimate Carnage.
It's actually got people and zombies as a nod to the UK censored version, so you can switch between them.
That was the point I was going to make, which is in the UK when it came out, I actually patched mine back in the day when I actually was a PC gamer.
I've actually got. I went and bought both versions because I love that game. I bought the UK one and the US one just to have both, and then there's also a patch disc that you could get from SCI back then, and yeah, you could patch it to to have red blood and actual people. And there was a German version too that had zombies. Not zombies.
It had robots, didn't it?
Yeah, robots, and they would spurt oil when you hit them instead of blood.
Isn't that the fact that the reason that Contra was renamed or redubbed or changed to Probotector in the UK was because Germany was the biggest gaming market at the time, and basically they had a problem with any form of violence whatsoever. So basically they turned Contra into Probotector, and because if you're going to kill someone, at least kill them as a robot, because that doesn't count, right?
Somehow robots get around that rule. I don't understand it.
This is the reason why we can't have nice things and Will Smith stars and everything. Robots. So, Clint, if you basically, I'm going to give you an out-of-the-box question here. If you were a producer in the gaming industry, you were someone who had some knowledge and power in the industry itself, what would the advice you would give to today's companies?
Be less cynical and maybe go for just believe in the artistic vision, I suppose, of the designers themselves, more so than the bottom line of things like putting out infinite amounts of DLC or relying on online connections, just to try to push some weird bottom line. And I think there's too many companies now trying to be tastemakers as opposed to appealing to the tastes that are already there. And, you see that
it's not welcome.
Yeah, the indie developers and everything are really trying to fill that niche, but it's not enough, in my opinion. I think we should have the ability to make more really high budget but really interesting games. That you can you can maybe experiment a little bit like they did in the 90s. You'd never see a game like MDK coming out today, for instance, but they did it, and it was, quote unquote big at the time, and maybe you could get away with that exactly now, but I do think that the risks are sometimes worth it. You don't have to always put $400 million into a game like they did with Grand Theft Auto. Maybe you can just put $1 million.
Shit. Yeah.
Put something out there that's not as high risk, but is also different and interesting. And thankfully you're seeing a little bit of that. But
basically,
yeah. I mean, it would earn some respect, I think, and it is earning some respect for some people. You have Ubisoft putting out their independent games now, and Sony putting out their quote-unquote independent games, Journey and Child of Light and whatever else that are genuinely different and interesting and
Namco Bandai too.
They're few and far between though, and I wish that we weren't seeing like The Order 1886. When that thing came out, and it was completely disappointing and short and just bare bones Gears of War in Victorian London. That's all it was, and that was pretty sad because they were trying to hype this up like it was something different, and you can tell that even though they were trying something different, they got scared and pulled back and really made it a very basic shooter with very generic sort of everything, except for the fact that it was in Victorian London. There's not too many games there yet, although that seems to be a coming thing. The new Assassin's Creed is also in London, so
and it has some GTA mechanics in there as well.
Yeah, everything is becoming very homogenized, and maybe just break that up just a little bit. Just stop, we don't need to make the same things over and over and over and over.
Make that bold leap, people.
Well, that's the one thing as well. I was talking to someone about this recently, how I'm kind of pissed off about the Kickstarter situation where you've got small companies trying new things and people aren't investing in them, but yet they're going to throw money at like an established developer who comes in and says, hey, I want to make the same game I made like 20 years ago.
Churn out the same shit that you've seen 15 times before, but you're gonna love me and kiss my ass because I'm called Ubisoft.
Yeah, well, currently, like Iger's Castlevania, which is one where there's a load of mystery.
And what he said was, if we can get it to 3 million in terms of funding, they'll make a Wii U version of this game.
Sound like you're in a wind tunnel.
Okay, I'm trying to kind of resolve that 1 second.
You sound like one of those military
guys that are announcing a bomb drop.
Okay, 1 second.
You sound like Ronald Reagan from the 80s.
This turned into that scene from Hot Tub Time Machine 2 and stuff. You look like.
Okay,
like
I'm back. So basically, what I was trying to allude to is, like Iger's come out with the Kickstarter. It's basically known that they've sold the property, Bloodstained Memories, or whatever the hell it's called, to Deep Silver. Deep Silver are basically publishing the game now. They are supposed to make 500 grand on it. They've now made. They said they'll make a Wii U version of the game if you spend 3 million on this game. How is it where people are so
pricing themselves low?
Well, people are so inclined to kind of go for the, because we're kind of as an audience we're at fault. As you said with the whole Sims scenario, we're spending our money on something that we want and that's nostalgic, that we're paying through the nose for, but when it comes to new properties such as Pixel Noir that didn't get funded, we're kind of not taking those chances. Why do you think that is?
I wish I knew, because then I could probably do something and make my own game. But I think that it just, a lot of it has to do with either being scared to take that chance yourself, and in that way you can kind of be sympathetic to these really giant companies putting everything down. But the other thing is just sort of a bad track record with even some of the more successful Kickstarters, at least in just the Kickstarter space, because I know that myself, I committed to like 10 Kickstarters in the first year of Kickstarter, and I've done like 3 since then in like the past 4 years. And that's because so many of these projects either completely vaporized or the product turned out to be pretty weak. The Ouya console, for instance, I backed that and it was a huge disappointment. Barely worked. It wasn't very good. Wasn't very well made at all. And game support just wasn't there.
It's a good back-end indie console though, like for running emulators and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean it was cool for that, but I already had other consoles that did that. So for me, it didn't make sense.
My hacked Wii can do that. So.
Yeah, the hacked Wii
is $35, and I can do that.
Exactly. I don't need $100 Android console to do that when I have even an old hacked original Xbox will play a lot of emulated. My Dreamcast.
Xbox.
I mean, my Dreamcast will play emulated consoles. I play my Spectrum games on a Dreamcast sometimes. So
PSP.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's so hot. You play Spectrum games on a Dreamcast?
you can.
I think I might have wood right now.
I think Dave's ovaries have just exploded. So yeah, continue, Clint.
Oh yeah, so I think that's at least part of it now. That you don't want to take a risk on somebody unless they've got a very proven track record. You know, you have the Brian Fargo out there doing Wasteland 2, and then the new one that he's doing now. I don't even remember which. No, Bard's Tale 4. I mean, these are sequels to really old games, but at the same time, you know he's going to deliver because they've made them before. They were very well received, and Wasteland 2 ended up being fantastic. So I can see wanting to only take the risk or take the plunge on something that you know is going to deliver, because there's so many other ones that just came out. Even this Carmageddon one, that was a Kickstarter project as well, and it's barely playable.
I have a question for you, Clint.
I think it's a question of no, not a question, but an argument between people daring to take the plunge, but fearing, the response. So to some degree, they've already, kind of cut their own nose off to spite their face because they're scared of the response, even though they haven't actually delivered the product.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing here. It's basically, I find though, when it comes to any of these Kickstarters and what people are asking, people tend to go with, because I think it's just to try and test developers. They go also with YouTubers. It's anyone who's got a name behind them seems to be getting a lot more privilege, whereas those who don't end up, being kind of thrown to the wolves, so to speak. So I'm hoping.
It's so unfair that with Kickstarter for me to get DeLorean's not happened.
Well, that one I'm glad that didn't happen because but it's
I need a DeLorean.
But we are going into a society where there's trends are happening where, like Larry pointed out, the bad Kickstarters, and I can understand it, but at the same level, I think independent gaming is where the future of the game industry lies.
I meet the bloke who wanted to, who did the Kickstarter to get, Google Glasses, I want to kick you so hard in the balls right now. It's like pathetic.
But
well, it's like the guy that wanted, was it 50 grand to start a YouTube channel so he can buy all the equipment and everything?
50 grand for a YouTube.
Like I said, I'm using a fucking computer my sister gave me because the screen broke and I fucking bodged in a new screen. I'm using a $7 capture card, a $3 USB fucking sound card.
I film my telly and my computer crashes 15 times a day.
Yeah, and then you see the people that are wanting to start the big channels like that, and it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. It's so hard to get in on the bottom anymore that you almost have to start at the top. And so the people that are coming in there and they're making big channels that get popular quickly nowadays have backing. They've got, there's an entire group of people at Disney and ABC and all these other big companies
wait, what?
Are
Disney?
actually...
Disney?
Yeah,
Disney owns Maker.
Disney owns the company that I'm under now, so I technically have them as my overlords, and they've got a group of people, and they're looking out for those to try to make and manufacture new YouTube shows and channels, and it's like it's a talent search thing, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Game Jam debacle.
Yeah, that thing. Oh dear, that was an awful thing.
Yeah, but yeah,
they're trying to do all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a reality show of next YouTube star thing, where they just get somebody and try to manufacture them into a YouTuber, because that's just the way it's going. If it keeps going as big as this, and they keep spending all of these billions on acquiring companies like Maker and Machinima, it's just going to. It keeps getting bigger, and then if you want to get in. You either have to get really lucky or spend a lot of money, which is very much against the original spirit.
It's funny because me and Burhan talked about this on our podcast the other day, which is it's no longer a level playing field, and so
No, the playing field has been lopsided for years now, and that's just
to
people
do a
that are
YouTube
smaller.
channel now is not something like, if you did it like 5 years ago, you were in a different playing field and you had a chance to get some sort of
Well, yeah,
recognition.
everyone was just doing their own thing at that point, and now you've got people getting into it strictly for the money. And I've got people that, I mean, I get hundreds of emails a day now from people asking just anything at all, basic stuff, to how do I start a YouTube channel, to how do I make money doing this, to what kind of camera would you recommend. Like, I had somebody email me the other day saying, I want to start a YouTube channel. What kind of which one of these high-end cameras would be the best? I'm like, well, dude, start your channel first and then worry about the equipment. Make sure that you have a voice before, make sure that you have some interesting things to say. Build an audience. Don't just spend
it's like a friend of mine.
Equipment.
Say that.
Okay, guys, one at a time. Let Clint finish his train of thought, and then.
My bad. Sure.
That's okay.
No, I was going to say, it's funny you say that, because I with my channel, and I'm very, got like 4,000 subs, so I'm very fortunate to have that, audience base. But I do always make a point of saying, A, why do you watch me? Are you stupid?
I thought I said A, where I'm Canadian.
Yeah. Is it true that Canada only has one road that runs for the entire middle?
Yeah, and it's beat to shit.
Yeah, and apparently if you go the wrong way, you have to say, oh, I'm sorry, Toronto's that way, eh?
Yeah, and if you're going to put up dirty graffiti, you got to do it in 2 languages.
But it's with YouTube, which you can't expect people to watch you. It's like it's almost got that X Factor mentality, if that makes sense, which is, I want to be famous, bitches. Like, no, you can't. Doesn't work like that. So fuck off.
Well, it's like a friend of mine. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but he knew that I had a YouTube channel. I was doing it for a bit of a hobby for a couple of years, and he was, saying he wanted to get a channel and everything. He started sending me links to like all these little shops there where he was going to get mugs made and everything like that, and shirts and all this stuff. But he didn't have one video up, not one. He looked at it right away as a money making thing. He was like, promote, and I was like, no, get your content up first, build your audience, then worry about that stuff. He's like, oh, I don't know if that would go over well. I'm like,
he had content.
Yeah. It'd be a good idea. I think the one thing that I've always said to people is go outside of the box, but I think the main thing that goes on with this is community. The community needs to kind of fight back. It's the same with anything, and it's kind of the current trend that we were talking about in today's show. The community needs to be more proactive. People need to stop watching the same videos again. Again, if you see a video that someone does, like it, and for God's sakes, comment. The amount of comments that the comments have dwindled down now because people can't do like an answer back video, because before you could actually do a video answering back on the other channel, and
now they're getting rid of annotations. We're not even going to be able to do that. So
wait, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, this is news to you guys.
I never bother with annotations, but Jesus.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the annotation system.
And call me Susan. That's like,
they're introducing cards as I don't know if you might have seen it pop up. They introduced it to the YouTubers a while ago, and now it's gone public. It's like it's a card system. So basically, it's like an omnipresent little sidebar that you're gonna have your links to your things, and it's optimized towards things like merchandise and your own stuff. It's not optimized for pushing to other channels. That's not even really an option yet in cards. It's all to pushing to your own stuff. Like there's a spot for fundraising.
Google, can I slap you in the face right now and just say, stop it? Like
all
a
that
dog
is just right there.
Floor. Wow.
You swear that they were bought by EA.
All the big
Clint, I'm going to ask you a little question, though.
Sure.
Well, it's because I'm a huge fan of it as well. What do you think of the rumors of possibly seeing Fallout 4 being revealed in the next month?
I hope so. Oh, I hope so.
Oh, my God. I've already said I'm going to swear off a social life if that happens.
No, I'm gonna quit LGR if that happens. I'm serious.
Well,
Like that's like my favorite series of games in the modern era. That I thought they really just hit the ball out of the park with Fallout
I'm
3.
playing New
Hello?
Vegas now with a ton of mods. Right now,
Oh,
as we
yeah.
speak, I got New Vegas going. I'm just like walking around now. I'm just all badass, armed to the fucking teeth and everything. I'm just looking for shit to kill right now.
Yeah.
You're just
The fact
gonna
that Bethesda is,
quit
like,
and
actually holding their own press conference this year is pretty big, you know. So I'm hoping that is a good sign. But
so Clint, you're just gonna end up quitting the channel and just become a Fallout 4 Let's Player and just play Fallout 4 as a career.
I'll guest star on that, man, if you want, because I've got just on the 360 version of Fallout 3 alone. Like I still sandbox it. I've finished the game, and I'm still just going around hunting NPCs now. I got about 4,000 hours according to my save file.
I worked with a bloke whose game plan for Fallout 3 when it came out on the Xbox 360 first time around. His entire game plan was he wanted to kill every single person in the world. Which
that's ambitious.
yeah, which sounds kind of nasty, but at the same time, I high-fived him and just went, "That's brilliant. Go forth, son. Go forth, son." And yet he wanted to kill every person in the world, but he got really upset when his dog got blown up on the minefield.
Oh, I know. When I lost dog meat, I was just like, Then I got the perk puppies. It's like, I have more puppies.
Do you know my favorite bit about Fallout 3 was the alien expansion pack.
Oh my god, Mothership Zeta was amazing. I loved it. Honestly did.
That you would walk around this fucking UFO, even though ignoring the game and shit, and you saw like King Arthur frozen.
That one was a whole lot of fun. The only thing I didn't like about it is the weapons that you got. You would go back to the regular game, and they were so overpowered that it made it not fun. I ended up tossing my alien weapons in a locker in Megaton because I'm like, you know what, I can't play the game like this because it's a one-shot kill for my level at the time. I had maxed my character, so I'm one-shotting.
The worst thing about that bloody game was you had to fucking march to a point on your map in regular Fallout to access it. And I'm like, hang on a minute, I just fucking bought this. So why am I walking to a point on the map? I just bought this bloody content, and now you're making me walk to a point on the map.
All in the name of role-playing experience. It's immersion, right?
Oh, I know. My favorite expansion was Broken Steel because it just brought in all those overpowered NPCs. It kind of made it more challenging again. So, like, you know, you had, like, the overlords. You had those albino red scorpions and shit like that.
Because you should just say, like, hey, I just paid 25 quid for this. Can I just appear there? Oh, no, wait, you're going to make me walk the map, and then you're going to make me address the mothership, and then you're going to make me fucking locate the people I want to fight.
You just need to play the PC version. Just mod it and teleport yourself right into the middle of the action.
Well, that's what I'm playing now. I'm playing New Vegas on the PC. I got Nexus running, so I got a few mods in there. And I'm actually playing it on a CRT. Oh, man.
Nice.
I like how more in-depth the crafting and everything is.
New Vegas is amazing, but the ending is so shallow.
I know, that's the only thing. And they didn't do like with Broken Steel in Fallout 3 where the game just keeps going. It ends when you finish it. In Fallout 3, you can just keep going afterwards. It's funny, like I actually tell you about this one now, Clint. You know about how you got those traders? Well, you know, it's the traders that keep moving around and, you know, like the crazy guy and the arms dealer and all that stuff. I left it going so long, like me just going around to that after all the other quests were done to that there was this water trap that these raiders had at that train station or whatever, the train yard, and the traders are slowly getting picked off there to the point where none of the traders were left alive anymore. I'd drop back at the area every few days and I find another trader dead because they were going into this little spot there and getting ambushed and that. So I'm now in sandboxing game being a trader for everything, like going around to the different spots.
Nice.
I'm actually picking off Enclave, so I'm picking up their plasma rifles, repairing them to 100%, selling them, getting caps, selling supplies to other vendors like a Megaton and stuff like that. And I'm actually taking on that as like I'm just going around do and you know just picking up different things, picking off different opponents and stuff like that.
I'm just living in the world, but hey, look, gun, shiny, brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's fun still. Like I'll play my 360 version now and again, but I'm in love with the PC because of all the mods and everything, all the things you can add. I'm still holding off on playing Skyrim through too much, but I'm half tempted to do the Randy Savage Dragon mod. I just love that. It's like when he fucking bellows out some fucking fire or whatever. He's just like, yeah! And like when he's flying around, it's like macho madness. And I'm just like, oh my god. I watched the video and I was like, I think I'll put this mod on. I'll have to. Because it's just so great what you can do with computer games these days, like
It
with all
is.
the mods and everything. Oh my god,
But
like the
it's
even like
like
weapons
Red Dead
packs.
Redemption, which is the most hacked game in the world, I believe. But
Mhm.
um, if I go back to kind of actual off-the-shelf games that you can buy, I love the zombie version of it because it's just brilliant. You know, the fact that, you got this world, this wonderful world that you can experience, and then oh wait, they're all dead. I have to shoot them in the head. Genius. But when you actually bother to hack it, it's like, oh, fuck me sideways and call me Susan. It's like, oh, it's like, when like, oh, you have to get on the horse. You got the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and it's like, when you hack it, you just go like, I'm just gonna pick one. I'm gonna pick my favorite horse of the apocalypse and have that ride around sideways.
Yeah. On the
Genius.
subject of mods again, though, I gotta ask you about this, Clint. What do you think of some of these homebrewers that actually make not just like little weapons packs or anything like that, but full quests and even full games? Like I have New Vegas here, but there's a group that created something called Project Brazil, and it's a totally new Fallout game, totally fan made. But I think they got some blessing from Bethesda and access to some things. But if you have the mod in place, when you go to start your game in New Vegas, you can either pick to play New Vegas or you can play Project Brazil, which is not like on top of New Vegas. It used the engine and everything, but it's a totally new game.
Oh, I've always liked those. We used to just call them total conversions, and
Mm.
I had one for Quake back in the day that turned it into an X-Men game.
I
I mean,
love Quake
Mm.
so much.
yeah. So
It's
you
my
would
Winky.
be able to turn Quake 1 into a X-Men first-person shooter. You could be Wolverine, and yeah, and that was sold in stores. So yeah, it's definitely got a time-honored tradition at this point. I love that it's still going on. They've got this one for Skyrim that completely remakes all of Morrowind in Skyrim, so that one's neat. There's
Yeah.
another one for Fallout that makes I think it's sort of remaking the Stalker games, or maybe it's the other way
Oh,
around, remaking Fallout in Stalker. Either way, yeah, I love that stuff. Total conversions, or just the converting over and using the same engine is just it's neat and
the
super
fan
impressive.
dedication too, right?
For years in Quake, right? For years in Quake, my character, my skin was the Incredible Hulk, and I got really annoyed that we had this mod because I actually ran a server for a while on Quake, and if people kind of pissed me off, I would just remove their guns and give them a fish to slap people around with, and I got really annoyed, and I shouldn't, but oh, at this moment where I could graffiti on the wall, and I would spray Timmy from South Park, and
Timmy.
it really annoyed me that people stole that. Then there were other people running around in my server, being with the ability to tag the wall and say Timmy. It's like, no, that's my shit. That's my shit. Fuck off. Oh. And that's why I don't run a server anymore. Because it
Don't
just
get me
makes
started on people ripping off what you created because there's a company I got a real big fucking problem with.
Microsoft.
No,
Have
Hyperkin.
you talked to them about it yet?
I'm still in the process of getting like a friend. I have a family friend who's a lawyer, and he's trying to get me in touch with a copyright lawyer. And
Oh dear.
because we have, well, short, long story short, Clint, there back in the fall of 2013, I came up with an idea of you could take and like You can do part of this already. You go get a Kira and you strip out the guts of either VIC-20 or 64, the Commodore 64, or even like you can get it for Amiga as well, and you can use that as a keyboard, right? Instead of using it as what it was intended to. But I was
sorry, you own an Amiga.
No. But you can get it for an Amiga. I want an Amiga, but it's an adapter that goes inside. I was going to go one step further, wire it all up inside to have Raspberry Pi in there, have it dedicated to retro gaming for computer games like the Spectrum, Amstrad, all this stuff, because I have a Pi now for, console games. I have a Super Nintendo USB controller hooked up to it, etc., etc. Anyway, I drew it out. I even put the plans up on my Facebook.
Pi.
I love the Pi. But I put a schematic up of it on my Facebook, and me and Elective Sales Primark for here talked about this endlessly, like through those months, because I gave him the idea to get a key route for his dead VIC-20 so he could use it as a keyboard. And he was actually planning on doing this. I was just going to do this as a shits and giggles project because I already put Pi in my old dead Mega Drive, old Genesis. Even like the Switch and everything works with it. But I posted it up, and then I come to find out the Midwest Gaming Convention a few months later, Hyperkin announced the Retron X86, which is pretty much an ARM-based ARM11 computer, a Raspberry Pi inside of a VIC-20. I had even planned it to be in a VIC-20 because that was my first computer I had when I was growing up. Me and my brother had it hooked up to our color television, used to fool around BASIC with it and things like that, played Home Babysitter and a few other games. And I see this, and I even tweet them, and I posted the picture up of my schematics. I shared it from my pictures folder on my Facebook, which is public, to their Facebook group, and then I tweeted it to them. They're like, wait a minute, isn't this something you shared to our Facebook page? I'm like, yeah, and they've been in hot water before about taking things that aren't really theirs and making money off of it, and now...
Well, yeah, I'm not a huge... not huge on Hyperkin either. Not only their products being kind of shoddy, but yeah, their business stuff is weird, and like taking code from whatever that one project was recently, and then the whole like Retron 5 thing, it was just really strange about a lot of that, and the fact that it was just so delayed and they kept taking money and then not delivering on promises, and I don't know. So that's not too surprising to me, but also that sucks, man. I hope you get
that's
that.
Pretty fucking brazen. I mean, like, that's why I switched over and put it in a Genesis afterwards. It's just like, I'm gonna fucking sit down and make this later on just to say, listen, guys, not only did you see all my product, the fact that this was just going to be a project I was going to share with people and show them how to do it, like kind of like Vomicide did with the Nintoaster. But like, this was intended to be fun, not for you guys to churn out fucking money from it. And like, you just brazenly stole somebody's fucking idea. Well, since I contacted them about it, they've been kind of mute on the subject, so to speak. Like they haven't really been promoting this thing or anything like that. And plus, like all the troubles they're having now with them snowballing about the use of the code for SNES 9X and a few other emulators on their Retron 5. I think I think they kind of like have held off on it because as well they said, oh, this is going into VIC-20. Well, that's a piece of copyrighted kit there. There's a company that actually owns the rights to that design still. So it's I think that as well. There was a company that bought the rights to the Commodore name and the Commodore designs and that, and a few years ago, Ben was talking about this one time before, but the company was making new versions of the VIC-20 and 64, which were like keyboard-based systems, computer systems that were, everything was internalized, and you can, get a Blu-ray drive with them, et cetera, and there's no tower or anything. Everything is inside of it, and the only logistic issue, yeah, kind of like that. And the only issue they were having was the fact that they couldn't figure out how to get the boot into the actual BASIC shell or whatever, and use the actual operating systems and that they used in the originals. You could get it with Ubuntu Linux, and you could install Windows on it if you wanted to. But
it's funny and it's ironic that when people remake systems, that they don't actually use the original operating system; they use emulation.
Yeah. The architecture isn't there, so they got to use emulation because they're not actually going to be going out and producing a SID chip or anything like that, which is sad. I'd love to see a company bang out a nice reproduction.
To quote The Simpsons, disparaging the boot is a bootable offense. Sorry.
It's about politics. It's about loyalty.
Did you see that company that did buy the rights and the actual molds to the Commodore 64 and VIC-20, and they're remaking them? And like,
I never heard about that.
Yeah, it's a company. They like started a Kickstarter to get the molds bought. They found an old Commodore
Wow.
factory, so the molds to the keyboard and the shell and the case for the Commodore 64 and VIC 20, they're making them again in new plastics
What's it
that
called?
don't
It's got,
that
isn't it
don't
referred
yellow
to as
or
the bread box?
yeah, it's the breadbox design. So that original Commodore 64 design, and unfortunately, the factory burned down a couple days ago, and I think they might have been lost, or some of the molds were down. I don't know. It's a really unfortunate situation because that was an exciting project. But yeah, I just saw the other day that the factory burned down that they were going to be pressing the molds in.
I've
So
got
that
a
sucks.
terrible secret I can
That
let you
does
all in
sucks.
on. I may have grown up with ZX Spectrum and think it's the greatest computer in the world, but ever so slightly I was jealous of the Commodore 64, so that's kind of that
Yeah,
upsets me.
see, we had a VIC 20 instead of a 64. We couldn't really afford the 64, and the VIC 20 was pretty cheap. So we had that in the Coleco Gemini when I was a
Should
kid.
have watched Spectrum, it was cheaper.
Yeah, if I was over there, I would have dropped a few quid on it. But unfortunately, at that
Well,
point,
you
we
had
didn't have
one.
Roll
You
Air
had
Force.
one.
What's that, a
Wasn't it
Specky? The
the
Timex.
yeah, Timex.
Yeah, no, that wasn't really available there too much. But the way my computing history was and that gaming history when I was growing up, it was the VIC 20 and the Coleco Gemini. And then later on, we had a Nintendo and we got the Tandy 1000 off of my mother's coworker. Came with the computer desk, the monitor, that really nice keyboard, the mouse, the printer, the official Tandy printer. And so we were using that until 95 or 96. So, like, it's the same one that you have in your video, Clint, except for it didn't have the hard drive. And I checked my local Radio Shack, and they were going to charge like $350 for the 20 meg hard drive. And it's just like, shit. But a friend of mine had that. There was a magazine that was a Tandy Collector magazine. And you could get a lot of different aftermarket things. Even like the 1000HX, there were expansion boards you could put in to give it FM sound synthesis. You can give it VGA video, and even like a hard card that you could put a 40 meg hard drive in it, and that. And it was just amazing what you could do. There were even like just RAM cards that were just like the whole length of like those ISA style cards that go into the expansion bay that gave you like 4 megs.
Oh yeah,
Which now is like peanuts, but it was just like looking at it is just like amazing because she had the 486 Tandy, and I had the 1000 RL, and I was just like frothing at the bit of what I could do with this thing. Well, seeing as how you did a video on it, Clint, how about you give us a little bit of a lesson on the Tandy 1000?
on the Tandy, the Tandy 1000 series was the Radio Shack Corporation's answer to the IBM PC Junior at the time. So it was the home computer IBM PC. It did 16 color graphics and had a little sound chip in there that was actually pretty close to what was in the Spectrum Plus 3, I believe. And yeah, it would do all sorts of cool stuff, and it was cheaper, way cheaper, and it eventually became the standard later on. As far as instead of being IBM PC Junior compatible, it would be Tandy compatible. So it was it outlasted the own thing that it cloned. So very very cool little machines. I love those things. They're full of character.
Oh man, it's the computer that has my heart. I went away to college, where in the city that I'm to now, which is like in Newfoundland. I'm from Labrador, which is the mainland part of the province. And I came home, and my mother and father had sold it to my cousin, and then a year later they had thrown it in the bin. And I was just like, really? Like, I love that fucking computer. And footnote to that too, I found a video on YouTube a couple years ago. It was this Israeli coder, and he even shows like 10 minutes worth of like C+ that he does to code out this program. But what it is it's a program that emulates music and sound that a Nintendo does on a Tandy using the Tandy hardware. So he even like put in considerations for vibrato and everything like that, the sawtooth and all that. And it was so good that when he did the playback of the first Legend of Zelda game, he got a copyright notice on that, and he had to actually mute that part of the video because it sounds identical to the NES version.
That's wild.
Like it's crazy. Like, you see this guy, he shows all the code that he does, so you can sit down and code it out yourself. Nice. And then after about 10 minutes, he actually starts playing out everything, like the DuckTales game for the Moon, for like I said, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, and some are damn near identical, if not identical. And I know that the sound chip that Tandy used variations are using like the Master System, the Genesis, the ColecoVision, things like that. But getting it to do like the Nintendo sound was just amazing. I was just like, oh, and I used to always just watch this video, and then all of a sudden I noticed he puts in an annotation like, I have to mute this part of the video because Nintendo gave me a copyright notice on the Legend of Zelda music. Man. I'm like, seriously, that's badass. And you did that with a fucking Tandy. Although I think he did it in DOSBox, but still, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's still like within the confines of it. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it just blew me away. Like I still wish I had my Tandy. I do. It's like I emulate it on my computer here at DOSBox. I even like the way my PC is. I'm just using my laptop right now. I have two monitors hooked up to it, and one is my HDMI. The other one is the VGA to S video adapter. So I actually have an S video input on my television, and I use that for like my gaming and that. But DOSBox I usually do, except for I should be hooking up my Model M to it to get that real nostalgic feeling. I have it hooked up in my Linux PC here now. I have a French Canadian Model M. I found it in actually in an old tech junk shop. Yes, it was in a tech junk shop. I was like really bent on getting a Model M. So on the local Facebook flea market, I had posters like, anybody have anything like this? It could be under Dell, it could be under HP, it could be under IBM. And that's Model M, and you'll know by pressing keys how loud it is. And the guy piped up. He's like, yeah, I have this shop. I don't really do any business with it anymore, but I got a lot of this old stock. So why don't you come over? And I went over, and he had Model M. And he saw a smile on my face. He's like, you're smiling. Why? And I flipped it over, looked at the sticker, and I was just like, oh, it's a 94 Lexmark one. But it's drinking age now. But besides that, I got an in the box. I think it was 8195 IBM membrane keyboard, but it's like totally mint. And a Logitech that didn't work, but he said $10 for 3 of them. I'm like, seriously, $10 for 3 of these? I know. I just like, shut up and take my money. It's
serious though, yeah, totally worth it.
And my friend told me, like, on the way home, like, I didn't even really take notes, but I was just playing with the thing the whole time in the passenger seat, and then just took it home, popped off all the keycaps, and got the armor all out and everything like that, and just scrubbed it right down. The only thing I haven't done is taken it apart yet, because I want to just make sure, like, even the deck on the inside is all nice and clean. The only issue is I'm missing the F1 key, and I'm missing the period key on the numpad. But it's got extra keys on it, too. Yeah, it's got a few extra keys on it too for the fact that it's a French Canadian one, so it has to do like that.
It has like something over to the left of like Z and stuff, and
yeah,
like
it's got the double arrows and that, and it's got.
I'm sorry. I think you meant Z.
Z.
Yes, Z. Okay,
Z.
Like, it is a French Canadian too, so that counts.
Yeah, everybody who's ever accidentally set their Windows 7 machine to French Canadian and hit the question mark instead, get the E with the hyphen over it.
Yeah, I never knew what
it has that key. It has that key there. It actually does, but I have it set. I'm using Ubuntu Linux here, and I just have it set to generic 104. They actually don't. One of the only keyboards they don't actually support when you get the drop-down list is the Model M. Weirdly enough, even though it's still bloody well made. But I'd like to get a Space Saver, one with 10 keyless.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get that thing, but they go for so much on eBay.
They do.
I wouldn't mind working at a trade, because this one's pretty obscure when it comes to Model M's. I haven't even been able to find one.
Hang on. What? You can't drop your keyboard down and be Canadian?
Sorry?
You can't drop your keyboard down and be Canadian, because that's just...
Yeah, that's true, but the 10 keyless gives me some space considerations. But yeah, this thing is like 100% Canadian. But I love it. I do. Michael makes me mute myself if I type.
Does it have a key that says A on it? Sorry.
Well, it has an A key, but it has that hyphenated E key as well, so it's pretty Canadian there.
In fact, does it have a key that says beauty A? Sorry.
The other Model M that I've been to really get, Space Saver ones are neat. There's this one that they came out with. I don't remember the model number. I've got it saved somewhere with an eBay search, but it's got the little mouse nub from the IBM ThinkPad right in the middle of it. So you can actually, you have a mouse and a Model M right in the same board. I think that's super neat.
Well, I still have my T21 ThinkPad there. I bought it for like $25 on a local flea market when I was living back home. and I even went out and bought a new battery for it and everything like that. But it came with Windows 98 or something like that, so I threw Puppy Linux on it and started going from there. Now it's got like a half gig of RAM in it. It's got a 250 gig hard drive. I don't really use it for anything anymore because it's just an 8 meg onboard video card just isn't going to do much. I might turn it into terminal at some point, maybe just serve
Still use
media.
it for porn.
Yeah, pretty pixelated and artifacted, I'd say. But yeah, one of those little nubs that would be perfect. And they have like the two little mouse buttons below the space bar, don't they?
Mm-hmm. They do.
Oh my
They
god!
mostly came in black as well, which is pretty neat to have like an official black-colored Model M.
Oh, I know. It's
a
just,
pretty
I
sexy
love the thing.
keyboard. I want one of those so much.
I put up a video on Instagram. I just like set a camera tripod there, and I put it in front of like the keyboard, and I just put up in the description was "Let me play you the song of my people." And I just type on it for like 10 seconds.
Well, saying that, guys, going on to basically to run the showdown. Let's finish it off. So, Clint, in terms of like your YouTube channel, in terms of where to find you, how can we get a hold of you?
Can I ask one final question?
Okay, get on, Dave.
Clint, since you're the only American bloke I know that likes English computers, but what's your favorite English computer?
It's a Spectrum, hands down. It is.
Thank you.
I think you know that. That's probably why you asked. But seriously, I don't know. It's just, it's an endearing little thing. I mean, and it's because it's so little, and it's got these
above its weight.
It did. It's impressive what it could do, and I was always impressed, even with the resolution of it compared to something like
33,000 games released on that beast.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with it too today, with all the modding scene and everything else, all the homebrew hardware for it. It's just a great little system.
So going on from that, Clint, where can we find you?
Shut up, Bahan. I love you. I love you, Clint.
Okay, Dave, enough. All right, Clint, where can we find you?
That'd be just search in LGR on YouTube. It's easier that way. But if you go to youtube.com/freakindee, it's PHREAKINDEE, then that would be the channel link, or just lazygamereviews.com, and you can click a link there.
And also,
I get confused, by the way, Clint, between your YouTube name and your real name on, like internet land, quotation fingers. Yes, I'm actually doing quotation fingers. You can't see them. Because when you did that BBC version of my intro, it was on Freakindee, and then when I tried to thank you, it was on Lazy Game Reviews. So yeah.
Yeah, they're both the same thing. You'll find me either way, but just because of the way YouTube's channels changed a few years ago, the channel name is still technically Freakindee, but I was able to change the channel title to Lazy Game Reviews. So, yeah.
So, go to Mr. Dave Way. Where can we find you?
You can find me at the collapsing event horizon of a star. There you go.
Lawnboys Post 1975 on YouTube, fellas. Sean Michelin, where about you?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all the same name, youtube.com/user/dietless79, DAIATLUS79. You can find me on Facebook, just as Sean J. Michelin. Usually I'll add most people, especially if I have friends in common. I'm pretty sociable on there. Talk away to me. As you can tell, I don't mind talking.
He smokes
Again,
a
Clint.
well, people.
Again, Clint, huge fan, man. Huge fan. Keep it up.
And guys, if you're a fan of I Got Gameplay, facebook.com/I Got Gameplay. Find us on iTunes. Leave a comment on iTunes, because that really helps if you basically talk about us and say how amazing our podcast is.
Are we there now?
We are on iTunes.
Yes, we are.
So go on iTunes, basically, leave a comment on there for us. That would be great. There's only one comment showing up on there for some weird reason, so make sure you make your comments count. Secondly, you can also find me at my official Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Burhan Actor. You want to see my show reels, want to see all other little bits and pieces, short films I'm working on, and also YouTube stuff, just go out and check me out on there. I've amalgamated thing into one channel. Woo! And also youtube.com/thenerdiness, of course. So guys, now this is the end of the show where we always do our little sound off, so let's do it right now. From Clint, from also Mr. Dave Wade, from Sean Michelin, this is Michael Burhan saying that we've got gameplay. Have you?